Howdy, howdy. Well, are you tired? No, you're not tired because it's the last segment. And I've got David back with me. We let him go have a bite to eat and just kind of relax. But I think you were on the phone answering lots of calls. Let me tell you guys, this man right here works non-stop. But he loves you, and he does it out of the goodness of his heart. You know, and I have to tell you, I've been with this company for 9 years. Can you believe it?
It's been a long time.
9 years for something that I was just going to come and do part-time. We had our own business, and I fell in love with the Martellis and the products, and here I am, still. You know, and I do a little bit of everything, and right now with the COVID, we're not doing the trade shows, so I've been helping out with Facebook Live. I've been in the shop with Valerie doing whatever she needs, and it's great. And we really, really appreciate you all. We miss seeing you, that's for sure. But we've stayed busy, and because of you guys, the Martelli family is still in business. And from the bottom of my heart, you know, thank you. Thank you for being so supportive and loving them. You know, I've had a couple ladies today said, when this thing is over, we're coming to Pensacola. Will you show us around? Will you take us on a peek through the warehouse? And I'm like, heck yes, we will. Because you know what? I mean, I know we've told you this, but they make 85–90% of everything here in Pensacola. So good old USA made.
Yep.
You know, quality is far none. They stand behind their product, and you cannot go wrong with anything that you choose. I know that David loves the Facebook group, and if you're not a member of the private Facebook group, make sure you get on that. Is there how do they do that?
It's real simple. You just go to Facebook, you type in the Martelli Quilters Group, you ask to join and answer a few questions, but John's absolutely right, man. You are the heart and soul of this company. I know it's a small group and it's growing daily, but you're very, very important to me personally, and I've told people this. You've changed my life in a lot of ways on a personal level, and not too many people have the privilege of saying that about a customer base, and I'm one of those people that can absolutely say that. Love you guys so much. So grateful for everybody and what everybody has done, especially during this tough time. But let's dive right into this. This is actually one of Joallen's creations with a customer. Yep. So she was at, and I'll kind of let you give the story real quick, and we'll dive right into this bad boy. But a lot of these babies have been sold in a short period of time. So Joallen, I'll let you take over.
Okay. Well, did we want to show this first?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. We actually want to show you something really quick because I don't think they spoke about it today. I know that, you know, Brian showed you the very first segment, the three tables, the Premier, the Advantage, and the Elite. And he showed you on, you know, on a sewing machine how it tilts and how we can sew at an angle. Well, remember, that's because it's releasing all that stress in your back, your neck, your shoulders. And of course, that's really what we're here for, is ergonomics and make things easier. So David came up with this how long ago?
Probably about 8 months ago. And this, let me add this real quick. I love this fact because this table they came up with, about 8 or 9 months ago, I would have said, no, let's just stay with our workstation. Everybody loves it. But with this new product, the ergonomic machine tilt, we have a small and a large. And what this allows you to do with this new essential table is use it for what it truly is for, in the size and all the applications that you can use, but you can still get that tilt from front to back. So you still have your workstation or your cutting station, right, like you would typically do, but if you want that tilt, you can use the width of it, being a 4x4 table, still have all that area to support your quilt. And then the ergonomic machine tilt will allow you to take your sewing machine and use that as a tilt as well. So, and Joe will tell you, there's a big difference. And we did this earlier, where you take your hand, you put it in front of the bridge of your nose, and you try to look at the top of your hand, you can't see it. But if you take your hand and you tilt it towards your face, then everything becomes visible. So now you have a 4x4 station. Look, you can see her posture is perfect. Joanne's posture is perfect. And she can see. Everything is tilted for her, to her, and she's allowing the tools, once again, to work for her. So that's a huge ordeal.
And of course, it's made with our our non-slip surface, which also absorbs vibration with the machines as well. So, and you could take this really anywhere, maybe not the extra long one, that's pretty big, but this one, imagine going to a retreat or something.
And let me explain this. How often do you, and she's absolutely right about this, how often do you go to retreat, you get those little white tables and the thing bounces all over the place. Let me give this analogy to you. About 8 years ago, I did a video. Anybody that's ever seen those little plastic party cups that are see-through, I filled it halfway full of water. I had an old Bernina 1620. I put it right next to my Bernina and I started sewing, and you could see that water violently jumping out of the cup. I stopped, I picked my machine up, I put my machine pad underneath, I set my machine back down, and you could barely see that water moving like this. I'm gonna go out there on a limb and say our machine pad eliminates about 80% of the vibration. Now think about this for 1 second, okay? The number one problem that you have with any and all sewing machines is vibration. You're talking about intricate moving parts on a sewing machine that does tons of different types, 100, 200, 300 different types of stitches. So you think about the wear and tear that vibration causes. Now, you eliminate that vibration, it keeps your machine out of the shop. So a $30, think about this, a $30 fix will keep your $15,000 sewing machine from going into a machine shop. Think about that for 1 second. What a very inexpensive fix to a problem that everybody in the world has. Everybody, bar none.
Absolutely.
So that's a great addition to the tilt and the eliminating of the vibration too. So that is huge, huge, huge.
Okay, so let's talk about this fabulous, fabulous table, okay? First of all, you can't go wrong with any of the workstations whatsoever. It really depends on your room and what you can, have in there. In fact, David and I introduced this 2 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago.
Okay. I was in Odessa, Texas, at a store event, and if any store owners are watching, we do store events.
No brainer too for
yes,
having this.
Absolutely. But had finished my presentation, and this gal's in the back, and you can always tell, when we're thinking, and your mind is just going and going and going, but she was waiting patiently for me. So when I went back up to her, I'm like, "What's going on? What are you thinking?" And she's like, "Okay, I love that table. However, this is what I want." And so we kind of discussed it, and I said, I bet we can do that. Let me make a call. So I called Valerie, and Valerie was like, "Well, hold on, let me ask the boys in the back." And we created this. In fact, so a couple weeks ago, we also came up with the name, and it is called the Essential Table, because really, it does everything you possibly need without having to remove everything. So it's right now at its lowest, which is 29 inches, something like that, just like the other workstations. So I'm going to go ahead and raise it up to mine and David's height, just so we can talk about it a little bit more. Of course, it's just like all the other stations. It's made out of the HDPE, high density polyethylene. The legs are extruded aluminum. You can't hurt it. It will hold like 700 pounds. Don't know what you're going to do with that, but the reason we tell you that, it's not going to bow. It's not going to crack. You're going to have to leave it to someone, because it's going to last forever. Forever. And y'all, no matter which one of our workstations you choose, it's not just a cutting table. It's not just a sewing table, and it's not just an ironing table. My 14-year-old, she paints, she sews, she quilts, she does scrapbooking, she does artwork. My son has a 3D printer. We put his 3D printer on here. We've had people that do stained glass windows. They make puzzles on this. We've had people who groom dogs on it, photography. So when you look at these workstations, don't just think sewing and quilting. Everything. And you know what? I wrap my Christmas presents on it. So I told you my youngest is 14. Now remember, I've been with the company 9 years. So I used to hide in my bedroom and on my floor and sitting there wrapping presents. Well, shortly after I started working for Martelli's and got my table, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm doing something wrong here. So I roll my table into my bedroom and I raise it up. I sit on my bed and I wrap all my Christmas presents. So You know, it can be whatever you want. I put my laptop on it. It just really is your everything table.
So one other thing that we want to talk about, and this is a huge deal. Anybody that's ever done with their quilting, the last thing that gets done is the binding, right? And then the other thing, before you can bind it, you want to make sure that your quilt is 100% squared. Anybody, I want you right now, if you're watching this video, I want you to close your eyes and picture, if you would, just for 1 second, picture yourself trying to square up your quilts. It is a nightmare. The biggest problem that you have is being able to support the weight of your quilt. Well, obviously, if your quilt has a lot of weight to it, you need a larger surface area. So one of the things that we absolutely love to do is, if you see this is a whole nother story in and of itself. If you get a little piece, Joan, if you find one,
You
I'll do
want
it.
just a little piece?
Yeah, that's fine. They can get the idea. So I have a 4x4 area, right? And squaring up your quilts is the most difficult thing to do. Almost every single quilt in it has a border. So if you look at our seam allowance rulers, we have 6 of them. And every size increment of inside of an inch, we have for a seam allowance. And this ruler, I happen to have 1/4 and 3/8. So we know that we have a border, right? So let's say on the inside of our border, I'm going to show you how to trick everybody in the world to thinking you're the most amazing quilt squarer in the entire face of the planet. So what we've done, right, there's an inch right here. On the outside of the inch, from here to here is 3/8, and from here to here is 1/4 inch. So let's just say that I wanted to do 3 1/4 inches from the inside of my border to the edge of my quilt. We want it square all the way around the quilt. So what I do, because I have a 4 foot by 4 foot area, I'll take my quilt and I'll do a fold, and I'll set my quilt on this table. I tilt this table towards me to make it much easier to work with and much easier to see. And then what I'll do is I'll take this hash mark right here, and I'll take this hash mark right here, and I'll set this on. Well, I'll use a 3/8 side. So I'll take this hash mark, and I'm going to set, you might want to get a close-up if you can with this. I don't know if you can. But I'll take this hash mark, and I'll put it on the inside border of my quilt, and I'll do the same thing with this side. Put it on the inside border of my quilt. So now I can go down 1, 2, 3, and there's my 1/4 inch for my binding already built in. So I'll cut. I'll take my ruler, I'll bring my quilt down just like this, I'll reset my hash marks on the inside of my border, and then I'll cut again. Now when I'm done doing the side of the quilt, the 2 things that you have to understand is my entire quilt is supported because I have a 4 foot by 4 foot area. So when I'm done doing one side, I'll take it and I'll refold my quilt, I'll do an accordion fold, and then I'll do the next side. So now when I have a border on the inside of my quilt, I'm actually using that border that's already stitched into my quilt, and I'm using a 100% accurate no slip ruler that has already done the measuring for you. So now from the inside border to the very edge for your binding is perfect all the way up. So there is no more of this from your border to the edge of your quilt. So now that you have a 4 foot by 4 foot essential workstation, think about how much easier it is to square your quilts up. You don't have to fight. And I love the fact that you can put this at a little bit of angle. So once you cut that side, as you cut the length of the quilt, you can simply pull that quilt down, let the table have gravity feed your quilt towards you, and you can cut and square up a perfect quilt. And then when you're done, you just simply rotate it and you go to the next side. That is a huge deal. How often do we fight with that quilt hanging off the edge?
And you know, the thing is, yes, you can do that on our other workstations, but the space just isn't as big. So having the weight of the quilt on here and it doesn't matter, even if it was a king size quilt, it makes life so much easier just having it this wide and handling everything. Now, at the angle though too, what I love is that, you know, when we're sitting there and you're doing longer strips, okay? The further you reach, the harder it is. So just like with the table being tilted, now you bring that ruler up to you, or you're bringing that mat up to you. Now I can cut. So, and look at my posture. It's taking all that stress out of my back, my neck, and my shoulders. And I know that Brian, you know, and David talked about that, you know, this morning. But I just wanted to show you that this table or workstation does the exact same thing. David and I love the Essential because of the width, because of squaring up. It really just makes it so much easier having that weight.
You get, and what Joanne's telling you in so many words, you get twice the cut by going half the distance.
Yes.
Think about what that does for your posture on your neck, back, and shoulders. It eliminates all the stress. And at the end of the day, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, not only does it make this so much easier, it also affects your mental mood. You know, we're supposed to do this as a getaway. We're supposed to do this because we love it and it's fun. It gets frustrating when you start hurting, you know. I used to love to play basketball in high school. Loved it. That's all I ever did. As I got older, I started hurting. My knees started hurting. My back started hurting, you know, so I didn't enjoy it as much anymore. Well, if somebody told me, hey, man, I'm going to go design you a basketball court that has springs on it, and I'm not taking that pounding on my knees and my neck and my back and my shoulders, man, of course I'm going to keep playing. I didn't have that luxury. We're giving you that luxury in quilting. We're giving you the essential quilting workstation that will allow you to do all of the main applications. And we talked about this before too. What about binding? Same thing with binding, except you have a bigger surface area to work with. You set the sewing machine right in the middle of your table. You stand on the side of the table and you feed it from the side, but everything's in a straight line. Your posture's perfect. Having the 4 foot by 4 foot, if you can put this in your room, it is a game changer because it allows you to do so many different things. Sew, cut, square, press, and the other thing we talked about, Joe, and if you remember this, we love to quilt together. We just love to do that. So if you're working on a workstation, it's really nice for one person, right? You could probably squeeze 2 people in there, but what if we wanted one person to cut, one person to press, and one person to sew? Can we do that with this?
Absolutely. And you know, so today I got a phone call as everything was going. A customer of mine in Richmond, Virginia, Miss Susan, called me and said, I have the workstation. She has the advantage, and she also has our sewing tables. She goes, my sister really wants a table. I said, okay, so I called her sister Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Aunt Susan. So I explained to her this new table, and this is what I said. If you have the space, and just like you just said, what if Susan wants to come over and work with you? One of you can be cutting, one of you can be sewing. I love that it is square. I can walk around, even if I'm by myself, okay? I love the fact that I can walk around and do my cutting. And you know what, David? Because I don't have this table yet, and I was just looking at this. With the table tilted, it's heavy.
I can do that.
Okay. With the table tilted, even though I have this on the Ergo, and did you see how it didn't fall off? Okay. If I really had a lot of cutting and I wanted to kind of cut and sew at the same time, I could still be sitting here and doing my sewing, push my chair away, and then come up and be able to do my cutting without having to go anywhere. And David,
you have a 2x2 pressing area, and the wonderful thing about
Yes.
this is the quadrants on the mat. I already know where she was going. You have 4 cutting spots on the mat, right? So this gives you an entire mat. So my 18x24 mat, guess what? It's right here. So if I'm cutting right here, I can press right there. If I'm cutting right there, I can press right here. I can press right there. I can sew right there. So multiple people can do multiple things at one time on one surface. That's a huge
think
deal.
about this, okay? You know, a lot of ladies and men, because of course we have men who quilt as well, do like to get together, but the work area is
Limited.
very limited, or different heights. And y'all, I'm really short. I just wear 3-inch heels, you know, all the time. So, you know, for this table to be able to adjust to your height, whoever's working on it, I mean, I could be sewing. Let's say we're doing mask, because everyone's doing mask right now. David could be over here sitting there and cutting them up, throwing them over to me, and I could be, you know, sitting here and sewing them. Or if, let's say
Cutting,
we're even
pressing, sewing.
cutting, pressing, sewing. In fact, why don't you grab the ironing top? Did y'all talk about the ironing top?
We did earlier, but not a whole lot.
Okay. So we make ironing tops, and really this is what I always tell people out in the field is that eliminate your ironing board. You know, I got rid of an ironing board a long time ago. These actually, you know, first of all, the back of it is just wood, all right? But what makes it special is it has our non-slip fabric and our batting. The combination of those two throw the heat back up so you're not flipping your fabric. But what I like is that it's a huge surface. So when you're sitting there and you're putting all your squares together for your quilt and you have to press, you've got a huge area. And guess what? Throw it up on your workstation. And again, cutting, ironing, sewing. You can do absolutely everything you need. Now, in regards to these, maybe you already have the workstation and you don't have the ironing top. You can take the batting and the cover off and use this as a mini design wall. It will actually hold all of that as well. So, that's the thing with this. We're constantly giving you so many different uses with all of your products. So these are called ironing tops, I believe. There's several different sizes. David, why don't you grab that 5-foot one right there?
Yeah, so this is a really cool, and we talked about not going into detail, but we have the best sewing tables in the world. You'll see one right behind me right here. So we came up with an idea. I think my sister came up with this when she was trying to help people at the retreat. So this fits perfectly on our sewing tables, right? One thing I do want to add, nobody knows this. I kind of keep this hush-hush, right? Well, so Brian talked about the quarter pounder, the Big Mac, the large fries, or whatever he was talking about, our secret sauce, right? People love the wool pad. There's a wool pad going around. People don't understand pressing. They just know that they want perfect seams. Well, here's what's going on. The reason why there's a wool pad craze going on is because when you press something, in order to get that best, sharpest looking seam, you want to retain the most heat that you can retain. So by using a wool pad, it retains most of the heat. But nobody ever thought about this. I'm going to make it one step further. What if you could not only not retain most of the heat, but what if you could reject the heat? Now, let me give you this thought process. Okay, so that secret sauce that we have, the no-slip material, here, I'll just show you right here. This right here is a moisture barrier and it's heat resistance. Now, the reason why everybody loves wool, because it retains most of the heat, right? If you look at this surface, years and years ago, anybody that used to buy from us, they used to buy, and we had the blue no-slip, and it worked really good. But anything that we do has always evolved. Now, what I say by evolving is, we used it for the no-slip. Then we found out that pressing was a big deal. So the reason why the color changes, the pigment changes, because we added something to this. So now when you press on our no-slip material right here, when you press down, it rejects the heat and the steam. It shoots it right back up through the fabric. Now, let me kind of give you this as an analogy. If you want to do, I'm going to say cotton or a cotton poly blend, the wool pads are great. But my no-slip material, this is awesome for everything. Think about this. It will iron both sides at the same time with the most beautiful seam that you've ever seen. Now, take that and add that to our sewing table. Just like when you press, everybody's a different height. Everybody needs different applications for different things. So we put our no-slip material and we made an ironing surface or a pressing surface. So now you can press both sides at the same time. But what I love about this is if you look at this, I have my no-slip on both sides. So when it's on my sewing table, I can raise and lower it to any height. But look, when I'm pressing, I can move the whole table. But my pressing surface will never move. Then we made a cover. So now when you're pressing all your seams, look at the size of this. You can put half of a quilt on here, put it on your sewing station, raise and lower it to whatever height you want, and this is going to grab to your sewing surface. So now, watch this now, with a perfect posture, right? Now, even if I wanted to tilt it, I could do that, but perfect posture. I can get half of my quilt right here. I can press it where it's perfectly, even before I put the batting on, when I just want a nice looking quilt top, if you will. So I'll take that, I'll press it, then I can move everything forward. But everything's done ergonomically. It's much more comfortable, but look at the size of this. Now, this is a home run. I haven't even... When I first introduced this, I get a little bit excited sometimes. When I first introduced this, I sold about 10 tops, and I've quit talking about it because they are a pain to make. But perfect, we're into the best products in the world. Martelli wants the best products in the world with our name on it. So, with that being said, what we've done, we get our wool in big sheets. Anybody that's tried our wool pad, they absolutely love them. So if you're out there and you have one of our wool pads, you can put in the comment section below what you think about it. But this is what we've done. We've done wool pad on one side and our no-slip on the other. Now you have a huge iron, and I sold a bunch of custom ones like this. But anyways, so now you have the wool, you have the benefit of the wool, you flip it over, now you have the benefit of pressing both sides at the same time. But here's the caveat. With any material on the market, I don't care if it's Lycra, I don't care if it's minky, I don't care if it's the stretchy kind, I don't care if it's cotton, I don't care if it's a wool. With this pressing pad, especially with your sewing table that will raise and lower, there's not a material in the world that won't be covered with this ironing surface. So I wanted to say that.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
All right, I've got to go. I didn't see whose name it was. They moved along. But can we use this 5-foot surface on a regular ironing table at home?
We've made several for, and there's probably people watching that I've made custom ones for. So your regular pressing board, we make custom sizes. Now, what a lot of people are doing, your pressing board usually comes to comes to a point, right? Or somewhat
Or
of a
like
point.
a sleeve.
What I've been doing for people, and they absolutely love it, is I just have them measure their pressing board, and I'm making them one that's square. So it's the same exact width. And so at the top, they don't have to deal with that point because remember, we're quilting. We're not doing clothes. We don't need that point.
Right.
We want something square because our quilts are typically square. We try to have square quilts. And if you're going to square them up like I teach you, will. But the point being is now we have a 5-foot pressing board, right, that's square. And because we have that no-slip surface on there, not only do we use that for pressing and get the most beautiful seams in the world, it grabs to your pressing board. So even when your pressing board is up, all the way up, when you're pressing, it's not going to move because you have that no-slip side right on your surface. So it is a fantastic idea. So yes, you can purchase this for your pressing board. They are custom. You have to call. John, what's your number, cell phone number?
703-989-8300. The
One more time.
Okay, 703-989-8300. Yes, that's a Virginia number, but I live here in Florida, and we are Central Time. But y'all, text me, call me, leave me a message. I, like David, work all the time.
And I'm going to go ahead and call this right now. I guarantee you will get at least 10 to 15 calls tonight for a custom person.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
And
I don't talk about it much anymore because I get inundated with
I
this.
didn't even know we had
I don't
it,
talk
and
about it,
Valerie said, please take that and go show
Yeah,
it because this is fabulous.
It's a pain to make, but man, are they awesome. They are
Yeah,
so awesome.
I actually can't even imagine shipping it.
Yeah, it's a pain. But like I said, man, you want the best pressing surface in the world? Try me if you don't believe me. Get you one. And if you're one of the ones that I've already made one for, don't hesitate to put in the comment section below. I've had so many people reach out to me, man, this thing is so wonderful. Where's this been? Well, I don't show it because it's a pain. It's a pain to make, and they're kind of expensive to ship. But boy, you will fall in love with your pressing surface, and you will tell everybody you know about it.
The regular size, the 26 by 38, you can buy those online. That'll show you. So I removed the sewing machine because I wanted you all to see really how great this table is, and how David and I were talking about the squareness and everything. You don't have to put your sewing machine on here. Maybe you have a cabinet that you love, or maybe your husband made something where your sewing machine sits. Keep it there if you want to, okay? It doesn't matter. But what we love about this is that you can do everything. I pulled out our roundabout because the roundabout gives you another cutting surface. So literally, I mean, we could have 3 people cutting at one time, because you've got really 2 18 by 24 mats in one. So someone can be cutting here, someone can be cutting here, someone could be cutting here, and then you could still have a small sewing machine here. This right here that David's getting ready to show you.
I'm going to show you something. You don't believe me? We talked about that pressing pad. I'm going to go home, or I want you to go home and try this out. You don't believe me with the pressing pad. Buy the wool pressing pad that we have. Take your pressing pad that you get with the roundabout. Take this, get some 3M glue, or however you want to do it. There's a bunch of different ways. Spray it evenly. The 3M on the wood side. Spray it evenly on the wool side. Take this and press this. Now you have the same exact thing. So when you're going to classes or retreats, you take the covers on it. You might have to make your own custom cover for it. But now you'll have the no-slip brown side, which is beautiful for pressing seams. Remember, this is a moisture barrier and it's heat resistant. So this rejects the heat. And then for your cotton and your cotton poly blends, all you have to do is flip it over, and then now you have your wool pad. So that just kind of give you a general idea. Everybody knows that we sell the round wool pads with this, and with our roundabout. So this is one good way for you to test it out to get your custom one. I probably should have talked about it because I know we're going to get more orders than the guys in the back want to do. But at the end of the day, this is the perfect opportunity to do it. We're not at trade shows. We're not as busy as we have been. So that's one of the main reasons why I mentioned it.
Jean's bragging about hers online right now.
I told you. That's why I didn't want to mention it. I know, Miss Jean, I know you love yours. But go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, too, with if you don't have the roundabout and you buy just the wool, we do have the non-slip for the wool so that it won't move around on your table. Y'all, Martelli thinks of everything. There is a solution for absolutely everything. So all of this stuff, of course, again, is on the website, www.martellinotions.com. You can put in the search bar exactly what you're looking for. I know that actually, I think the roundabout, I think maybe the wool and everything might be under that, but you can find absolutely everything there. So,
How can they go about getting all this cool stuff with
I
the table?
know. So let's go back and talk about the table. And I know we've kind of jumped around. David and I are really, really excited about this. If you go online right now with any of the workstations, you're going to notice that there's a very, very nice discount on there. However, that discount only is going to come with a mat, a cutter, and blades. Now I know Brian told you earlier that if you call him directly, then he can give you a bundle. This essential table has become kind of my baby. Like I told you, Miss Sandra, she's decided to get one. Yesterday I sold another one to a gal. In fact, we didn't even have it on the website until this morning. If you go online and you see this, it's only going to come with the mat, cutter, and blades. If you call me direct, I am going to give you a whole bunch of incredible goodies that will change how you do your cutting. Imagine, to me, and like I said, I don't have this table yet, and I told my husband, I said that this table will be coming home soon, and he's like, where are you putting it? And I said, don't worry about it, we'll find a place.
Yeah.
Because I imagine my whole family using it. I told you what my son does or what my daughter does. So it will be an everything table. It's made just like all the others, but to me, bundle. And I know David's been saying this all day long. You know, kind of the more you get, the more you save. If you have your shopping cart full right now, and you're like, oh my gosh, Joellen, I have to have that essential table, let's talk, okay? And let's go over what's in your shopping cart, and I will take care of you. We will make sure that you get everything you want.
Priscilla wants to know your number again.
Okay, 703-989-8300. Now, I will be in the shop, the W Street shop, tomorrow from like 8:30 to, I think we've been there until like 5.
You've been there late this
So if for some reason you lose my number, you can always call the shop as well, and I'll take care of you. Text me, all right? I know that when we leave here tonight that I will probably need to go home and put my feet up for a little bit and unwind. I've been helping out at the shop as well for the last 2 weeks. Honestly, I told Valerie, I think I've worked harder being at the shop than when we go on the road.
It is.
I
It's
miss
tough.
being on the road
It's
because
tough.
I enjoy everyone, but I've been exhausted. I mean, he's the Energizer Bunny. He doesn't stop.
When you're
So-
home, it requires a lot more personal attention to people, and when you're doing this kind of work, there's always so much more questions, so many more questions that come in.
Right.
So it's a different kind. It's harder, but it's a different kind of work. But at the end of the day, it is so much better for us to be able to do these kind of venues, just because we're not limited to the 3 to 5 minutes. When you're at a trade show, you have to get people in and out to the next person, to be able to make sure that we cover expenses. We don't have that same type of expenses here, nor time frame. You can shut us off whenever you want. Now, we hope that you don't, but we're able to go into a little bit more explanation, and I think that's huge for a lot of people, because a lot of people don't have our knowledge.
your phone, 'cause
So yeah, so this is a way that
I
we can
wanted
explain.
I wanted to show you. It's just like the other tables or workstations, where it tilts to the left and tilts to the right, and it goes down to 29 inches up to 48. So it's like every other workstation that we make. To me too, imagine this, putting 2 sewing machines here, you know, so 2 ladies can be sewing and 2 people can be cutting. I mean, it is endless what you can do with this table. I'm hoping that we can get it into more quilt shops, because I think
That's who it
don't
really,
you
really,
think
yes,
so?
yes.
Imagine this. Imagine even in your guild, if y'all have a guild and everyone works together, imagine having one of these and what you can get done rather than fighting over one workstation. Or even like in a quilt shop, same thing, being able to have a multi-purpose to be able to do absolutely everything.
At our retreats, we had a workstation, we had a sewing station, you know, we had
Right.
lines at the Martelli Quirky Quilter retreat to use each surface. Man, this doubles up your production because you're able to have so many different applications with one work surface. So, with that being said, tell people one more time your cell phone number. Go ahead and repeat it twice, just so they know who to call.
Okay.
And tell them if they're just wanting to buy products, tell them where we're sending.
Okay, perfect. So if you want to do the workstation, and remember this one's called the Essential, it is on Martelli's website again, and that website is www.martellinotions.com. So if you want to buy product, go there. If you're going to buy the Essential table or any workstation, please make sure you call us, because I would rather you get a whole bunch of fabulous tools. Oh, yes.
Let me mention this. If you buy it today, I'm going to do this for Joe, because she's been working really hard and she loves this workstation. If you buy this today, I'm going to let her also throw in for free the base storage rack. And this is a product that goes underneath your table, so it takes up absolutely no more space in your room. And it holds so many different things. It will hold all of your squares, all of your triangles, all of your fussy cuts, all of your circles, all of your rulers, your seam allowance rulers, your half-inch strip rulers. So it holds so many things. And the thing I love about it, it's simply, there's no assembly required. You take it out of the box and you put it in the slot where it belongs. Now, if you have a shelf, which you won't with this, so I'm not even going to mention that. So you simply just take this out of the box, you lift the table all the way up, you set this in place, and now all your storage issues go away. So not only does one table do it all, it also solves a lot of your storage issues too. So that's a huge. So anybody that buys today, I'm going to let, and this is like a $300, $400 add-on.
$400 add-ons plus the other stuff I'm giving you, which I haven't even told you, and you'll just have to call me and I'll tell you all of that. If you go online and click Essential Table, you're just going to get the mat cutter and blades. You definitely want to call me. Plus, I want to talk to you. I want to meet you. I'm telling you, Brian's on the road like I am. And of course, we have a whole bunch of great other salespeople that work with us that, and some of them unfortunately don't live here in Pensacola where they can pop in and do what we've been doing. But we all miss you. And we have people that we love, and we love when you come up to the trade shows and see us. And I was telling you about Richmond. Miss Susan did not buy her workstation from me. She actually bought it online a couple years ago. She bought our sewing table from the quilt shop that I was doing an event for, and she loves our products. So she told her sister about it. But of course, she and I had developed a relationship, so she and her sister called me today. So if you are watching and maybe you have met one of our other sales members out on the road, you are more than welcome to call them and they will take care of you. They may have to call me and ask me for pricing, and that's fine. I will help them. But if you, if you're new to us or you haven't, you don't have someone to take care of you, definitely please call me. And again, my number is area code 703-989-8300, 703-989-8300. David has given me the permission to add that with all the other fabulous tools that I'm throwing in with the Essential Table. You know what's great is that because we're not out doing all the trade shows, normally tables take 4 to 6 weeks to get out to you, and I have sold several of these over the last 2 weeks since we introduced it, and we've been getting them out in about a week, which means they're going to be delivered to you in about 2 weeks. So super, super, super exciting. Miranda, who's in Johnson City, actually called me today and said, I need more stuff. Her table just arrived this week. So we love y'all. Thank you, thank you.
I'm going to add one more thing before we go, and I've said this throughout the day today. If you are on Facebook and you have not gone to the Martelli Quilters Group, ask to join. You have to answer a few questions. You're missing out. This is where we introduce a lot of our new products at really, really good pricing. So again, if you have access to Facebook, you simply type in the Martelli Quilters Group. You ask to join, answer a few questions, and we will accept you. I want to reiterate what Joe said. You guys are like family. You men and women are like family. We sure do love y'all. We sure do appreciate each and every one of you. You mean the world to us. And without you, we wouldn't be who we are. So I just wanted to tell you that we love you. We're thinking about you during these tough times, and we sure do appreciate anybody and everybody that has supported us. If you want to support us, I didn't do a GoFundMe. We talked to family. We weren't about that. But one thing that I did tell everybody, listen, if you have a little extra disposable income and you really want to help support the Martelli company, the best way you can do that is by simply going to www.martellinotions.com and purchase any of the products. You just go to the search bar, type in the product that you're looking at, it will pop up, and you can go purchase there. But we love you. Anything else, Dad?
Yeah, here's another way that you can really help us, because I'm sure that you have friends that maybe never go to trade shows, or maybe they don't know who we are. So really, really important for us as well is please like our pages and share our pages.
Yes.
Because when you do that, then it goes into your feed and your friends see it and they go, oh, what is that? And so that also helps us build
I
more
always forget to
people.
say that. Oh.
And so today, anything you watched, and I know that I think they're going to end up putting all this on YouTube. You can go back and watch the feeds as well.
Right on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right on Facebook, you can go back and watch everything. I think it's broken up by segment, but please,
Like
please
and share.
and share us.
Even more so than
please.
help me with masks. If you want to help Dave Martelli and appreciate everything I do for you, I do it because I love you. But if you really want to help, best way you can do that is like and share as many times you possibly can, because that really helps the company and get out there. And especially while we're not having trade shows going on, that would be a blessing, and we sure would appreciate you.
If you have your favorite quilt shop, I think it's going to be a while. I know that all trade shows have been canceled through the end of June. I think soon, and I haven't been on TV today, that slowly we're going to start opening up areas. So maybe you're in an area that hasn't been infected so bad, and we're very fortunate that we're not. And so maybe your quilt shops will start opening. If you love us, please talk to your quilt shop owner. I actually handle wholesale as well. There's several of us that do store events, and it won't cost them anything to have us come and do a live demo, and we always offer trade show pricing when we come to the shops. But the way we're going to do it is that store owner will benefit as well. Believe me, we want the quilt shops to still be in business as well. So if we come and do an event, we're going to make sure that anything you buy from Martelli's, that quilt shop is going to benefit as well, because we want them to still be around. Big box stores, okay. Buying online, like from other places besides us, of course, is okay. But we want to help those mom and pop stores. I mean, we're a mom and pop store. Right now, we're in our storefront that's only been around since August.
Yep.
So please, share us with your quilt owner or your quilt shops that you love. Share us with your friends.
On a regular Facebook page, anywhere and everywhere you can. It's
That's
huge.
right. That's right. I'm going to be working in the shop, I'm sure, for who knows how long. I enjoy answering the phone and helping out, even if it's something about your rotary cutter. We're here to help you with no matter what it is. So we truly love you. Again, I'm Joellen Cartwright. Thank you so much for your time.
Again?
Phone numbers again?
Yes.
Again, my cell phone is 703-989-8300. The W Street, that's where we make everything. That's where I will be working for the next however long. David pops around back and forth. The store over there, 850-433-1414. Sewing machines, fabric would be the storefront. And what number is that? Or you want to give your phone number?
It's 850-542-4440. We do a lot of custom templates. If you're one of those people that want a custom template, it's real simple. You can reach out to my wife at support@martellinotions.com. One more time, that's support@martellinotions.com. We've been doing a lot of custom templates. So between the two facilities, we have everything covered.
Absolutely.
From machines to fabrics to Martelli products. So,
And I have an email for Martelli's as well, which is joallen@martellinotions.com. And my name is spelled JOALLYN. Again, JOALLYN@martellinotions.com. The reason I give you that, Shannon is inundated.
she's probably going to kill me.
Because the mask and everything else, plus she handles everything at the storefront or at the W Street with everything. So maybe send it to both of us. So I check my email all the time for Shannon, because she's answering phones and doing everything else. It may take her sometimes a couple days to get there. So you're more than welcome to email me as well so I can get it handled. If it's a question for David, I can get it to David as
Yeah.
well. You know what? I may not be family, but
Yeah, she is.
but
Don't
I
let her
am
lie to
family.
you.
Everyone who works for us is family. We are here to support you. We are here to support the Martelli family. We are one, and we are here to help you, and thank you for everything that you do.
And I wanted to add one more last thing. For many of you that don't know us, we have a tremendous film crew that did Being Martelli, who graciously showed up and helped us today do this absolutely free. So Dave Barnes is standing right behind the camera, and his wonderful producer, just tremendous
and
people. Love to give
Jimmy and
names,
Heather?
Yeah.
Jimmy and Heather.
but I didn't know the last name. That's
no
why.
problem.
Jimmy, what's your last name?
Sims.
Jimmy Sims. Yes, I should have known that. And Heather, what's your last name?
Black.
Heather Black, amazing
The
people. If you
magnificent
ever
Heather
get a
Magnificent.
chance to come to Florida, it would be a shame if you didn't get to meet our production team. They're wonderful people, and I just wanted to thank them while we're wrapping this thing up today. So I love everybody. Hope everybody has a blessed day, and hopefully we can do this again real soon.
Stay safe.
Carolyn loves you. Priscilla loves you. Debbie loves you. Gina wants you to make a shop in Oregon. Okay, can you
We're
make?
working on that. We're working on that.
All right.
Thank
All
you,
right.
folks. We'll talk
Take
to you
care,
later.
y'all.
Bye bye.